Hey now, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Red Alert Diaries with Tanya E. Hood. I am Tanya E. Hood, a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, it simply means I've worn a lot of different hats in my life that have helped me develop a full range of strategies and actionable steps that I've used to help my clients make a strategic impact, both personally and professionally, to have better than what life has been giving them. Red Alert Diaries is based on the life lessons from my premier book, Red Alert. Is he the one? The pocket guide defining the love of your life. Now, if you read my book, you already know that I got married at 21. And after 11 years of marriage, I found myself going through a divorce, having to raise my two sons alone. To reset my life and survive my divorce, I took the time I needed to get to know me better, which opened me up to new love again. And so now I'm in a new marriage with the love of my life and my best friend, which just proves there is life after divorce. On this podcast, we have real talk. And today we have a special guest joining us today. Miss Kathy Kidd is joining us. Hi, Kathy. How you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Glad that you are here. So everyone, I need you to pay attention to this discussion because Kathy is the publisher for the book that you guys have been hearing about so much, Your Voice Matters. That book was a collaboration of love that was brought together 36 different authors. And because of Kathy, it is a #1 bestseller in 8 categories and internationally. For you to leave your comments, questions, and thoughts about this episode, you can call 240-532-2227. That's 240-532-2227. But before I go any further, I have to tell you more about this amazing woman. Kathy is the CEO of BSG Publishing and founder of Bestsellers Guild. She started in online marketing and business development in 1997, helping clients generate millions in annual revenue. And in 2009, she wrote and published her first best-selling book and discovered that having a book is fire in the marketing realm. She has focused on helping speakers, authors, coaches write and publish best-selling books ever since. BSG Publishing has over 600 best-selling authors and over 3,500 aspiring authors. And now I'm included among that number. So Kathy, I want to thank you so much for your heart to serve. And I understand why you felt inclined to share your experience. And I want to personally thank you for that. Can you tell us why you felt the importance of sharing this with the world?
This book in particular that you're speaking of, Your Voice Matters, is very special to me. I enjoy what I do, love what I do. I love working with the authors that I do. But this book in particular really was a passion project. It came out of all of the violence and uproar of 2020 during the time of the riots, and all the media and everything was, catching fire. It's not that it hadn't already been there. It's just that all of a sudden there was a spotlight on all that was going on. And again, it wasn't the first time that I had felt like I really want to do something, and I felt helpless of what could I possibly do? What can I contribute? What can I do that's going to affect change? I mean, I already lived my daily life to the best of my ability, but I didn't feel like I could have an impact. And because of the pandemic, I wasn't the kind of person to go and publicly protest and things like that, just not my personal choice. And it really bothered me. And I was on this long, long drive, and it hit me out of nowhere. And I'm like, I know what I can do. I publish books. That's what I do. That's what I can contribute. And I thought, I didn't even have a name for it yet. When I said Your Voice Matters, that was my concept of like, I want people to know that their voice matters. And it's time for allies to just shut up. I wanted to give a platform where people of color could just say anything they want, anything, unedited, raw, like just anything, literally.
So that is exactly what you got. Were you expecting so much of the storyline that you saw come across your lap to put together for us? And again, thank you for using your strengths. See, on this podcast, we also talk about strengths that people bring to the table. And I commend you for using your strength to open up a space and a place so that those that have been marginalized can be heard. What were you thinking about some of the stories that you heard?
Each one is very special and moving in its own way. Whether you want to talk about the poem from a teenage boy or experiences that people share, or the letters to their children that they wrote, or experiences of triumph or experiences of hate, and like things that you couldn't normally put in a book and just put out there for everyone to read, right? But in this platform, they could share anything. And I was so moved by so many of the people who contributed. And I had hoped for more, and I understand why some didn't. There's all kinds of reasons why people might not have. And I did it completely for free. I wanted to make sure that this platform was just available to everyone to say anything up to, it was a few thousand words. But I was really grateful for the people who did come forward and contributed. And I was moved by each one, almost each in a different way. Some of them inspired me in the same way, but each one is incredibly inspiring. It just, and having the courage to even get it done and do it, to put a piece of yourself out in the world, especially something, some of these are so intimate and personal. Some could have backlash. Some could, from family members or community or anything else, or just standing up and saying, this is my story. This is a part of me that I'm sharing with the world. So that's courageous. It's absolutely courageous and inspiring. And it's so inspiring that I want to do another one. And I have to tell you, this was my largest anthology book. And it was a heck of a project to manage. This is a lot of people to manage. But I want to do it again because it feels so good to share this with the world and be able to give a platform. And the title ended up becoming Your Voice Matters, because your voice matters. I want these people to know. I want you to know, you as a contributing author as well, to know that your voice matters. What you have to say matters. It's time for us to listen, to just listen and hear anything and whatever you have to say.
But there's a little bit more. So I appreciate you sharing that, because for some individuals, this was their very first time putting pen to paper for some of the thoughts, some of the heartaches, some of the things. And there were some pieces, like you said, that was revealed that some individuals, family members did not even know. I know for me personally, I was putting out a story so that it's mindful that even in a business realm, it is difficult and how you are approached. But being Black in America, not new for me. And because I have been raised to keep myself quiet and silent when I feel and hear the blaziness, exposure of racism and hatred, all I did was walk into the room. For there to be a comment spewed, I really felt unnecessary. But that's what happens a lot in this country. And unfortunately, there was an explosion that truly bubbled up. It's been here all along, but for some individuals, they were surprised. I don't know how you have been impacted on any other space as a publisher, hearing the authors, but personally, has there been some impact that you have that around you that others have stated or shared?
Do you mean specifically from this book?
Yes, regarding the book.
Not in particular for me. What I have enjoyed is the impact of having a group of authors who all find this important, to all be sharing it and to all be excited about it. And it just has moved me personally, because this is a part of what we already did. Like, we already give people a platform to share writings that they may not have been able to publish elsewhere. So that I love about what I do every day anyway. But this in particular, bringing a group of people together to be able to share the things that they may not have shared before and that they may not have shared anywhere on a public platform before, has been personally moving to me to the degree that I want to do it again. And that's a big thing for me, because this was a pretty big project to undertake. But I look at the possibilities of what we could do together as a group, because it's your voices and I want to facilitate. Like, having this powerful group of people together, I just imagine that we could end up doing interviews and going places and doing things and sharing with people as an impactful group, bigger and better than it is to do with, say, a single individual author.
That is true.
So that excites me. And I love what you're doing with the podcasts and the series of podcasts with all of our authors. It's so impactful. I love it because you get the collective and the individuals.
That's true. And I'm not certain how much you were aware that some of those stories are being used as teachable moments, because there are some environments, a few of them have already shared, they're taking the book to their job to share, to have and open up the conversation. Have you had any experiences that anybody has come to you about the stories that's in the book to open up a dialogue in a different arena?
No, nobody's come to me directly. And I haven't heard about the authors taking it to their work. Like, the things that I see that you guys post in Facebook, I turn around and I share or I comment on, somebody got a box of books and they're excited about somebody's doing a book signing. And, I'm excited for that. I am. I love that this is being shared. But no, if there's more stories, tell me. I want to know. I've been kind of expecting to hear some stuff, but I haven't heard anything yet. I figured it had to do mostly with the books being delivered and going out, because they've been kind of coming out over the last few weeks.
Exactly. Since we just got the hard copies and with it just being launched in October. So we are really moving kind of fast with it. But yes, the book has now become a featuring discussion point for some people on their jobs. I know for me personally, on my job, I had to have a conversation last year. So if I had the book available, it would have made things a lot easier. But moving forward, it is a space and a place that people can go to see the story, share the stories, because there were some individuals that was like, I don't even know how to tell my own story. But there's several stories in there that I can identify with, that some of the authors have come on and expanded more of what's occurred with them. The extra dialogue that is taking place around the book is amazing. So I want to thank you for that. So you shared a little bit about what inspires you, having the author stories. What else inspires you? Because there's more that I know that you do than just this.
Well, I'm kind of the redheaded stepchild of the publishing world, because I really look at books as more than this is everything I have to share in book form. I look at it as the beginning of the conversation. And so I love hearing that, like, you could have used the book at work. People can use the book at work or in any sort of teaching moment, because it really is, to me, books are the beginning of the conversation. It's not the end of the conversation. It's not that everything is in the book. It's the beginning. So I look at not only what are you putting in the book, but what are you going to leverage it to do? So I'm always looking forward to marketing and how to turn your book into an online course, how to turn it into other products or speaking on stage or teaching, and really, really leveraging the book. So that excites me. And we have more of that going on in 2022. So it's going to be an amazing year. But I really love that it's the beginning of a conversation. So to hear you tell me, to have you say that people can use it and are using it as a tool, that just lights me up.
Exactly. And let's unpack what you just said a little bit more. You have a greater vision, and this gives some other individuals, because like I shared earlier, for some, this was their first time ever having contributed to anything. This is their first time being an author. And it is so amazing to have your very first opportunity in a collaboration, because not all collaborations make it to be number one bestsellers, but in 8 categories and internationally. Kathy, you're amazing. But the marketing piece you were just talking about, can you share us a little bit more about what you do with marketing to make this so phenomenal?
Absolutely. I mean, that's really when you're looking at what you want to do once you have the book. It's really you use the book as a marketing tool. And leading up to the book, it is a marketing tool. I love social media marketing, and most people forget that it's social. It's social. So imagine if you walk into a party and you're having a conversation. You compliment somebody on what they're wearing, you ask the recipe for their dip, you have a discussion about what's going on, lights you up in business right now. And then there's that guy that walks in the room and goes, I sell insurance, I sell insurance. Don't be that guy. Nobody likes that guy, right? So having a book, planning a book, having a story to share sets you up for marketing from already back when you're even thinking about it. When you tell people, I'm getting ready to write my book, all of a sudden you have more credibility. When you tell people my book is coming, you have more credibility. When you tell people my book is published on Amazon, credibility. When you tell people it's a bestseller, even more credibility. And nobody can ever take that away from you. You will forever be a number one international best-selling author. Your great-great-grandchildren will say, great-great-grandma was a number one international best-selling author. That will always be. Nobody can ever take that away from you. So that's now a part of your credentials, and people are going to take notice. And that is fire in marketing, because it's the difference between somebody looking at what you have to say versus they might skip it over. Or if they're looking at 2 different people, they're like, oh, well, this plumber wrote the book on it, and this plumber is just a plumber. What'd they write the book on? Obviously, they know something, right? So having a book as a marketing tool is absolute fire. And we put a lot of marketing around our launch. And I understand Amazon's search algorithms really well. So I set up everything on the back end for the book to be published in the best possible way. I do all the social media marketing on the front end the best possible way. And then combined with anything that the author happens to do, which is not necessary, but absolutely amazing when they do, you put that all together, we have a number one international bestseller that's number one in 8 categories, including African American history.
Yeah, I remember
Boom.
going through some of those exercises. And I want to thank you for sharing that, because sometimes we forget. I know for me personally, because this is my second collaboration and I published 2 books prior, which is my personal story. And I never intended to write a book because I didn't have the thought process that you share. But when the book came out, I wasn't quite that person. I sell insurance, but I wrote the book, and then I just went away from it. I didn't market the book. I didn't publish the book. I told a few people that I know, and then somebody was like, put it on Facebook. So I put it out there. It was already on Amazon because the publisher that I used did that. But someone called me for my information in the back of the book, at least had enough wherewithal to do that. And she was asking me, where's your website? I'm like, oh, what? Didn't have a website, didn't have a Facebook page, didn't have Instagram, didn't have social media, nothing. The only social media I had was my personal Facebook page that I used to stalk my nieces and nephews, because I'm still the older aunt that has to pay attention to them and all of that stuff. And that was all I had. So you also provide extra information, because I was a real newbie with my very first book. And I did pretty good with it. It didn't make the number one Amazon bestseller, but I made it to number 3 on my own, with people saying, well, what is it? Well, why? Because I followed the promptings of the Holy Spirit for me. So Jesus gave me an idea. I followed it, but there's more than just an idea that's needed if you're marketing and launching. And you share that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Well, as I was saying, it's social. So you want to make it conversation. Take people on the journey with you. There was a time 20, 30 years ago when we'd see an author on TV and we think, oh, that's really great, or we'd read their book, it'd be wonderful, but we didn't have a concept of being able to talk to them. In fact, in 2007, I believe it was, I saw Lisa Nichols on the Oprah Winfrey Show and thought she was amazing. But I didn't think that I would actually be able to have like contact with her, right? Am I the only one? Most people, we've all had that experience where we see an author, we think, oh, that's really great, but I don't have access to them. Social media gives you access. You are someone's Lisa Nichols. You are someone's Oprah Winfrey. You are someone's, Tom Clancy, whatever. You are that for someone, and they have access to you. So when you share in social media your experience, the triumphs of writing, the disappointments of writing, the frustration of publishing, the points that you're excited about sharing in your book, or the things that maybe got dropped and you have to share it anyway. Share it. Take them on the journey with you. This book will never be published for the first time ever again, right? Like, this is a journey that the people who are with you today can only do. Somebody who meets you 2 years from now, they won't get that. Like, they get the benefits of the book and all the greatness that's still relevant, but they don't get to be on the journey with you. And when you bring people on that journey, it builds that know, like, and trust. They get to know you. And so for me, I then met Lisa Nichols in 2014. She became my coach. She became a partner, my mentor. And then our children started dating. And now she and her son, my daughter, they're off doing Christmas shopping without me right now.
Yes, because they are married. Yes.
But, can have but remember, in 2007, I saw her on Oprah Winfrey and never imagined that I could have contact with her. And that's the way that we are with authors. But social media brings us together. And that's the beauty of it. Social media. And a book is such a great marketing tool because then people instantly know what you're about. Lisa has 7 books. And her most recent one is my favorite, Abundance Now. And it tells you exactly what she's all about. Whether you've seen her on stage or not, whether you've met her in person or not, this book will tell you what she's all about. Your book will tell people instantly what you're all about, like what matters to you or what kind of great things you have to share that's going to help somebody. I love the power of a book. It's such a great marketing tool.
Yeah, but you have to be bold to share stuff like that, because I know for Lisa, she's phenomenal with sharing her story. And I'm thankful because there's some elements of my life story that mirrors hers. But when you write a book that's sort of a semi-autobiography, for me, my very first book was about my reset after divorce. And that has taken a journey that I was not really willing to share, but because my natural strength is to help and be a support system, I had some things that I learned that were strategic and pivoting to get me to my best possible position. And so you are amazing with your story and the pieces that you're bringing together. And I thank you for giving me another perspective as an author on what to say and what to share. Are there any final thoughts that you want to give to those around? And well, wait a minute, before that, you've got something that's launching around now. What do you have coming out?
So we are launching from our Bestsellers Guild, which is our free Facebook group, over 3,500 members. We are launching our book to course program. And there's just so much good stuff. You just have to come join us. We're giving you right now the 7 ways to make money with your book. So not only now you have your book done, but what can you do with it? Leverage it at least 7 different ways to make money with your book, like real, genuine money, and really be able to provide for whether you want to do something as a charity or your life and your family, and be able to launch that. So that's what we're doing right now. If you come join us at bestsellersguild.com, join the free Facebook group, get lots of support no matter where you are in the process, and the benefit of the results, like what can you do with your book once it's done, and the motivation to get it done. Because 81% of people surveyed say they want to write a book, less than 5% ever do. And this is what I want to share with you that's so important. It doesn't have to be difficult. It really can be easy. We have a formula for that. Come join us in Bestsellers Guild. We're going to support you all the way and get the book done so that you can then do an online course or any other kind of way. We have 7 different ways. Come join us in Bestsellers Guild. I'll tell you.
So thank you for that. So you all just heard her say the free giveaway that she's going to offer you, but sign up for the course. You'll see some information available and the information feed. You guys know where to go look. It'll be there. Make certain to have it. And you can go to her website, Bestseller Writers Guild.
Bestsellers Guild.
Bestsellers Guild. See, yes. This is why we have to have them share the information. But you'll be able to see it correctly because by the time you guys look at this, I'll have it typed at the bottom so that you can see it. Well, Kathy, thank you. Thank you so much for your heart to serve. Thank you so much for pouring out what you know to give us the opportunity to let our voices be heard, to let our voices truly matter, and giving a lot of us a new space and a place to be seen, because there has been so much already that has come off of this book and it hasn't even been out that long. So I thank you for that, and I commend you for what you do. Are there any final words that you would like to share with the audience before we close out?
Your voice matters, like truly. As simple as social media or put it in a book, your voice matters, truly.
Well, everyone, you have heard that. So with that, I thank you all for being here for another episode of Red Alert Diaries. And if you don't remember anything else that has been shared today, recognize that your voice matters. And there is some way that you can get support to let it be heard. If you're on Clubhouse, you can join us every Tuesday in the Winning and Wealth Club starting at 6 p.m. where we have a conversation about mindset. And then we move right into a discussion that follows up this conversation on Red Alert Diaries. Kathy will be joining us later today so that we can continue this discussion. And then at 8 p.m., we have with Miss Shanika Washington, the Village Woman, the woman's only conversation, because there's only some things that just we as women have to have poured into our soul so that we can pour it out into the rest of the world. And with that, this is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.